Good evening, YouTube family. Been laying low because the very thing that I was trying to fight for was weaponized against me, my family. I'm gonna move on from that. This video is gonna be a little different than any of the other videos I've made, guys. I don't know if a lot of you know, but I'm a true hip hop connoisseur. I mean, back in like 86, 85, 86, 87, my sister, she had stolen a Run DMC Christmas album from, one of the tape stores in the mall here in Dallas. And she brought it home and it ended up in my hand. And then that kind of opened up the floodgates. I like all music, but hip hop, also having had grown up in Dallas, it's just, it became a whole staple in my life at a period in time where I was involved in, the making of the music and the instrumentals and the beats. And then, for a long time, a group of us would make our own sounds and stuff like that. And, we just were real hip hop nerds, And then in 99, I got into some trouble, and I was looking at, the arraignment papers said life, but, I would have done 10 or 12, 15 like the rest of them, but, God worked a miracle in my life at that age. And it's funny because as my disdain for drug dealers and the pushers of poison in the past, going on 3 years now, I've been sober, has really pulled me away from certain types of hip hop because I can't effectively listen to music that promotes the sale of dangerous drugs. And then, like Hassan Campbell, he said earlier today about the DMX situation, guys. DMX allegedly relapsed and in outside of White Plains, New York. And there's been quite a lot of reports about his overdose. There's been a few unconfirmed reports of his death, but if you know where to look, then you can get the real biz. Anyhow, I am one of those people that could say, like, this artist was influential at certain points in my life, and helped me through scenarios and helped me through situations. And DMX was he was fundamental in late 98 through most of 99 while I was fighting an armed robbery case and felony firearm. It was my very first case. I was 19, I was not long off the porch, and I got into trouble and it was just a bad deal. But DMX's album, It's Dark and Hell is Hot, that was kind of what was leading the streets at that time. And, back in 99, 98, 99, we didn't know the vastness of the information that we know about our favorite star, our favorite rapper, our favorite country singer, whoever is your favorite of whatever they do. Back in the 90s, the late 90s, early 2000s, the only way you could get information about these artists was, Yo MTV Raps or, BET, The Basement with Big Tig, and, it was the Source magazine. There was some ways that you could get kind of limited information about these guys that, that you had a lot of admiration for. Thus, in that analog age, the speed and the power in which information travels it's miraculous now. So he helped me through a very trying almost a 2-year period of my life where there was no answers. There was a lot of confusion, and I just studied his music, and I breathed it in, and DMX has always been a real strong, he's been responsible for a lot of big artists and small artists, underground artists who, for whatever you pick up on his intensity or the pain in his music or what have you. So then you flash forward into the 2000s and the 2010s, and with this availability of information, we started to hear, things like DMX was having issues with a substance. I'm not going to go there because I'm not going to diminish the man's legacy, but he was having some substance issues. He would pop up on video occasionally, and he'd be all wound up and talking so fast. And what was really sad about the situation is that anyone that's familiar with the substance that that I'm talking about, if you know the backstory, the backlog of this, and you've ever spent time around anybody who has gone off of that mix, they all kind of have a lot of the same mannerisms, the way they talk, the way they move, the way they walk, the arm swing when they walk. Like DMX started adopting all of these same issues that you see people on the street dealing with, that you're like, you wouldn't throw change at those people to roll your window up quick enough to get away from them, right? Like, or some of us, we were down there, wherever there was, and we saw that, right? Like I grew up, I'm an 80s baby, right? So I saw what this substance did to every neighborhood, right? Every neighborhood. And we're just coming out of it now. So, DMX clearly had painted a picture of himself in this new digital age that, now, what was funny about those rappers is back in those days, to see those guys, you had to pay money, right? You had to, go see a concert, or you had to do this, and this in order to see them. Nowadays, with the availability of Snapchat and with the availability of TikTok and all this other BS, you can see your favorite performer or artist way too easy. You have too much access to them. So as his addiction progressed, some of the things that he was getting involved in became more and more nefarious. And all through that, though, you have to know that DMX had a substance about himself, that even though he partook and was affiliated with the stigma of this substance, he was still able to have a place in gangster rap music where a person that takes on the life and the role and partakes in a substance like that is outcast and is just defiled, you know, down to its last compound, you know, and so we saw X fight for what seemed like 10 or 12 years, or 6 or 8 years, whatever. And then he got the tax evasion and he went away for a year. And when he came back, that was the first time, other than short county stays anywhere, or unsuccessful rehab attempts, where X was forced to, in no uncertain terms, get sober and stay sober for at least the year in front of him that he was trying to pull. So, you know, when he came home, he had this renewed sense of vigor, and you know, I mean, I grew up when like, you know, when like DMX was like 7 foot tall on belly and slapping people around, and you know, like he was just a real tough guy, like a real American tough guy. And you know, he became a household name, Steven Seagal and Jet Li, and you know, he just had this persona that was larger than life. And then, you know, his disease progressed, and it progressed, and you know, even though X went to the federal pen and came home, you know, I know about addiction, and so when you're not actively trying to be proactive and beat down your own addiction, it's in the closet doing push-ups and sit-ups and lunges and crunches, and it's waiting for you to crack that door so that they can just, you know, why you think you put your addiction to rest, really what you've done is you put it in off season, and now that joker can sit there and run laps and you know, get his 40 speed up to date, and you know, it strengthens itself. And what's really sad, and I'm going to piggyback on what Hassan said, hip hop has glorified and made legends out of the drug dealers. We allow them to have a place in a forefront in this music that we love and we all admire, the lifestyle, and in shame on whoever knew that X, I mean, there's just no way that you could be in America or involved in the hip hop community and not know that DMX had a substance abuse issue that he was fighting. And for you, either for the novelty, whoever you are, either for the novelty of serving a rap legend, or if you're just that grimy a dude that you would sell him that shit anyways when you saw and you knew what it, and you know what it did to his life. I hate to find out, like Hassan Campbell said, that one of his partners, one of his day ones was, you know, brought it to him or brought him over there to get it, or, you know, secured it for him some kind of way, in a way where you're like, I love you, X, here, you know, here's the shit. And what he said, and I'm not going to use Hassan's language, but he said, you know what, you're the realest. You're the illest. Whoever gave them drugs to him, you're the illest. You're the real hustler. You're the real deal, right? And it's a fucking shame. It's a fucking shame. So that's why I do what I do. Anybody that's gonna sit there and piss and moan about the state of DMX's life right now, but then also think it's cool to either patronize a drug dealer or to help enable a drug dealer in some sort of way to do things just like this, take away some of the best things life could give us: family, art, music. Shame on you. Shame on you. And I hope God has mercy on your soul, whoever you are. And I hope that circle that you were in is tight enough that nobody never finds out who you are. Because if somebody finds out who you are, it's a good chance we'll be trying to figure out who you were. You dig? So, allegedly he's on life support, has some brain activity. There's two accounts. One says he's got brain activity, one says he doesn't. There are several accounts that he's already dead, but people, that is what happens when death and a legend meet. You don't want to believe. We've seen DMX get beat up and shot on dozens of movies. We've heard him be the tough guy in his music for going on 25, 26, 27 years now. And here it is. Hassan said it. Be careful your circle before they hurt you. You better watch your circle before they hurt you. So, guys, this is just me taking a little time out to show appreciation for the life and the legacy of DMX. I spent my Easter drive home after receiving the news, which was almost an hour and a half, 2-hour drive with the way it happened with all the kids. And I listened to all of the greatest, Damien, I can't even name all the songs right now I listen to. ATF, Damien, The Snake, The Rat, The Cat, The Dog, on and on and on. Slippin', 24 Hours Left, 24 Hours to Live with Mace and the Locks, Money, Power, Respect with Lil' Kim and the Locks. Like DMX is for sure he's partly responsible for how this beautiful thing we call hip hop is shaken out, guys. So I'm gonna close this up on that because I'm not gonna do. Clearly, this video isn't like everyone else. I'm not gonna tell you where he was born at, what his surname is, how many kids he's got, his ex-wife's name, his new broad's name, how much he owes this or how much he sniffed there or fucked off over here. Like, that's not what I'm doing this for. I'm doing this to first rebuke the devil. Secondly, to make you aware of even the legend that's an addict that still struggles, that still suffers. In the rooms of AA, they say that when you hold hands and do the prayer, you put one foot forward for the addict or the alcoholic that still suffers. And I'll always put a foot forward for DMX. He was one of those rappers, like, you just feel like you knew him. And it was not hard to start from track one and go all the way to the end and know every single word on every album. So God bless DMX, Mr. Simmons and his family, his children, his label. I just hope that, he had things kind of put in order if he doesn't come out of this scenario on the best side of things. I hope financially that he'll be okay. But moreover than that, I hope that what I saw of X in his last months, years, days, whatever, was really what was on his heart, and that he had a chance to repent for the things he had done. And I don't know, maybe the things he was doing, I don't know. But I'm gonna leave you with that, guys. Man, fuck a drug dealer. Love you guys.